herein the enforcer, and I will ensure the truth is spoken.
Good evening, I'm Dr. Karen Mikowski, aka Butterfly Karen. Welcome. Welcome to my virtual office, and for joining me tonight on what's early evening, but yeah, this is going to be real-time remote viewing case RTRV03 actually this time. Oh, unbelievable. 24th, Saturday the 24th of January 26, I literally went to town, did a full session, nearly 3-hour session. Couldn't believe it. Got a lot of information, but the problem was I wasn't just connecting to the highest order and everything that goes with what I do. I was on the multi-realms. I was hitting so many different timelines. I couldn't stay focused on what the time. There was such a shift. There was so many weird shift happening that it was causing timeline shifts. Like every time I was focused on one sort of future timeline, I was hitting another one, and I went right from positive to negative. And then obviously at the same time I'm connected like empathically to the collective energy. And my God, it was just seriously negative. I mean, I went through a 3-hour session, and by the end of it, I wasn't just exhausted, but my God, my warrior's mouth was just ferocious because it wasn't my energy. It was such a collection of so much energy, and I got it all ready and everything, and then the higher order's like, nope, pull it right down, we've got more, because we were so focused on trying to hit the correct timeline. There is a lot of strange movements happening right now within the lower order, and I'm just going to sort of discuss it because I've already done a report, but I've got to expand on it now. Oh my God, it was crazy. So before I even continue, let me clock in this evening. So it is January the 28th. Yeah, so it's, bear with me with my thumb at the moment. 28, 2026. And we are clocking in tonight, 5:39 p.m. 5:39 p.m. So let me have a look. I know there is I don't believe there's, just want to make sure. No, I think okay. No, it's okay. I wasn't sure that I left something on that phone that I needed to add to the report, but I've kind of finished it now. Oh God. I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to bear with me. My allergies are just a little bit crazy at the moment. Weather's changing again. What here in Arizona, it's just not, it doesn't know what it wants to do. I mean, but we're lucky because, a lot of the country is not getting really good weather at the moment. Okay, RTRV03. The lower order, my God, it is just, there is so much happening. There is so much dysfunction. Now what's happening is global. Now, what's coming off right now is there is serious structural impact assessments going on. Like right now, let me try and keep it simple. I mean, it's one thing for me to sort of be writing in a slightly different way. but to explain to the people, I try and keep it as sensical as possible. I'll come back to my books in a moment because they're ready to be distributed, you know, to my members once you all become members. I'm just what was happening the other night when I had to leave and everything, right? I had to get up. I'd been to Scottsdale in the daytime. I went to the Soul Search exhibit and just do a bit of like energy clearing and just to sort of do what I do, but I've done a brief video on that. But as I was leaving, my guardians were like, you know, you need to grab your bag and leave, get out of Dodge. I'm like, okay. So again, I don't question it. I'm like, right, I've got to leave for some reason. So I don't always get to know why. I don't know what's been foreseen. Clearly my guardians and the higher orders like seeing that timeline is looking pretty negative and they want me out of the way. So that's kind of why I just sort of take notice and do what I'm told to do. So I grabbed my bag and then I'm literally, again, I was driving and I said, right, where do you need me to go? Because I had to, it was just crazy. They wanted me to go to Sedona. And then, like I say, as soon as they told me the destination, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Let me find a hotel. As soon as I was driving to Sedona, I was feeling this almighty energy shift. And the closer I got to Sedona, the closer it was more intense. And there's a lot of weird sort of vortex energy up there anyway. I thought, well, okay, you know, there's a lot of freaking dark witchcraft that goes on up there as well. It's really diabolical. So there's, you know, even though you've got the sort of good elements of Sedona, the aspects of it with the spirituality, but you've also got the very dark side of it where really people that are into the darkest arts love going to, they love it up in Sedona because the energy, they pull on the energy. It's there's a lot of portals up there. So it's great for when you're into doing a little light work and stuff like that, but it also attracts the devil worshippers and everything. It's fucking bizarre. So, you know, I have to sort of take that into consideration when I'm going up there, like, really? Here we go again. And I hate doing a lot of, like, you know, grid work and I'm up there, but I always have to because there's so much, a lot of dense energy just starts to settle. So it's one of those places. But I don't stay there too long, and the fact that I have to sort of stay overnight, I'm like, okay, and oh God, the visuals I was getting, like crazy early hours, trying to sleep and everything. I'm like, I'm not going to sleep here. It's Sedona, first of all. There's some crazy energy, and obviously because I'm in the astral realm, and I've got all, oh God, it was just intense. But it was this really ferocious, oh God, it was just this ferocious energy shifted. And so there's me halfway up there and I'm thinking, oh my God, I feel great. I'm ready to go. And I'm, you know, just pulling on this energy and I'm thinking, okay, well, that's fine. But, you know, let's keep on that positive timeline. You know, bring in, let the downloads come in, you know, let me get me ready. So by the time I get there, I can start getting into action. And then, like I say, I got there and I had to take a full spiritual bath because by the time I got there, once I entered, like, the edge of Sedona coming in, I'm like, oh God, here we go. So, you know, I just have to sort of navigate through it and just cleanse the energy, just, you know, because there's a lot of dark energy up there. It's only a people problem. So, did a lot of clearing before I could even, like, start. And as soon as oh God, it was just really heavy energy. And I'm like, oh, this is not going to be good. But it's because there is so much going on. And I'm not just focused on this country. This is like some serious stuff's going on in the global arena right now. You've got, there are the architects or the little slaves to the architects, right? The little puppets, right? Fucking disgusting leaders, these little puppets. The lower order, the fucking architects. They're out there spewing their version. I don't care. I'm not even going to give them any credit, and I'm not even going to name them because they are disgusting human beings. They're evil. But they're really pushing right now for this new world order and how we're going to, AI is going to be we are going to be looking at AI as God. They have no idea that AI mainframe has already been fucking infiltrated. That's how delusional they are, right? Delusional. But they know it's been infiltrated, so now they're really pushing for us. They're trying to program the populace to really go full force with AI. I mean, there are great aspects to it, but then there's a negative side of it. So you just got to remember that when you're sort of like getting into it. But yeah, it's because AI is so, they're really pushing for us to, you know, treat AI like a god. I don't think so. No. And so this is where they're trying to take us, because they know the mainframe's been infiltrated by Yeshua's codes and everything. So the higher order's like, let them be this delusional. Let them try and program people so fast. They're doing it so fast as well, because they're on borrowed time. The time and power is running out. I mean, everything I was getting, like the absolute conceptual. Oh, here we go. Look at that energy. I've come online, so you know what that means, don't you? The riders are already online, and the dark elites are like, oh shit, frequencies online. But that's fine. So you've got to understand that the frame rate. Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, they don't want this intel getting out at all. I'm just going to give it a moment. It's either going to be my speech they're going to try and mess up, twist and stuff, or they're going to go for my throat chakra. But I've been doing a lot of work on my throat chakra, so it might be a bit hard for them. I don't know, the framework right now is, okay, just give me a moment. I want to just see what's lingering. There's dense energy lingering. I can feel it. It's just it's normal. Yeah, for me, they're really just programming the collective for that real sort of I don't know, it's hard to explain, more informational density. It's that dense energy, that density. So they're just pushing the informational density right now to just inflict the minds of the masses right now to believe this is where we're going, but we're not. I don't think they understand. Like, what I was getting was, I was like serious remote viewing, I was on the natural runs and everything, and I'm telling you, the architects, the structure, there's like, the silent brotherhood was already at me. Look, you got to understand, right, there are multiple types of secret societies, very old, right, very old. There's rumors of the secret 13, there's the silent brotherhood, there's the there's a few of them, but they literally control the world in so many. You've got those, like you got the watchers, but they're all sort of they all want the same. Well, they don't all want the same thing. One wants to hold on to the knowledge and then use the frequency keys, bloodline. There's certain types of people out there that are literal bloodline frequency keys. They've got access to they're interdimensional bridges, but they've got access to everything. So obviously the watchers want them. The problem is, to join any of them, they're a fucking cult. They're just cults. That's it, right? And it's their rules and their ways only. So even though some can offer you the world, right, it's all bollocks because they own you. Well, you can't be owned. You're not supposed to be owned by any person or persons. You can't be autonomous, and you cannot be authentic when you're owned by a cult or you belong to a cult. So for someone like me, it's hard to sort of navigate this reality, really, with doing what I do without being pulled by a cult or anything like that and belong to anybody. So, and then you've obviously got the evil ones that just like, we just don't, they just want to fret, right? The idiots. Everything's a threat to these people because they're losing control. So there is different sort of secret societies, and I'm not talking about the Masons, I'm talking about sizes that are older than them, right? So it's all, a lot of the sort of, you know, hidden knowledge is sort of trickulates through to those people back in the day. But I really don't want to get in I don't really want to even talk about them. I don't really want to give them credit or anything. It's just because it's all polluted, you know. Again, regardless of how you start out, it's always the good intentions at the beginning, but you're gonna get corrupted by money and power and control and fucking the PPP, the power, perversion, power of paradigm into it. That's all it is. It's just power and weakness. I'm going to be careful because I can feel the passion. I can feel the energy. I don't want to be using I'm trying to control my soldier's mouth a little bit. Because, again, by the time I'd finished that session the other night, I was so exhausted. I'm like, my God, I cannot believe my warrior's mouth was just... But it was all of the passion. And even I was like, good Lord, no, that's just too much. Hell, even for me, you know. So, but anyway, there is a group that's you know, there's rumors of the secret 13 that pretty much it's, and to be perfectly honest, I've sort of seen this before. Like I once in a blue moon, I'll always remote view, and I always get taken to this room, and there's like 13 men. And they're pretty much discussing how the world's going to be run. So you can tell they're clearly the hierarchy of the architects. So, but this is why I know something's happening. And the reason why I had to pull that video and I couldn't put it up was because once we hit a timeline, I thought, okay, well, we were given a 72-hour timeline of major shift that was going to kick in, because we've got the major shift happening in the shifts right now, energetic shifts. But the reason once this session tonight is focused, because by the time I get this out on Friday, which I will get on uploaded for Friday, from Friday is the timeline that we went ahead of time, obviously, but they want it out on Friday because from Friday, 72 hours after Friday, it's going to get absolutely ferociously hectic within the lower order, within this sort of these secret societies. I don't think the watch is going to be, well, it's going to affect some of them, because they're going to feel like, oh, what do we do? Have we got a contingency plan? Oh my God, it's going to affect them in different ways. So the negative ones are going to be very, very active in the air and everything, because the satellites are being, oh God, it's just, you really need to just sort of go back to the red files and really cover, really cover the green files too, if you can catch up, because it's all playing out. And I know it is, because there's a reprogramming for the consciousness, for the collective to really sort of tap into that high state of consciousness right now. And then that's because you've got a lot of people doing serious, grid work right now, spiritual work, pushing, to really raise the vibrational frequency. But then you've got the lower order that are just like, oh no, we don't like it. They hate the light. They know they're losing power. So they're pushing even harder. They're sort of hitting contingency plans. They're really sort of, I was watching it more focused. I was actually more surprised when I was taken back to this room to watch these so-called 13, I don't know who these people are. So it might not be a round table, but I always seem to be at this round table when I see these men doing just discussing like, but they're going to get a shock. At least 5 of them are probably, well, no. You've got to understand what's going on right now. Let me just, I can feel the energy coming in. It's tough energy, and I've even got my feet on the grounding rock and everything. It's, oh, good Lord. It's this energy is really, you need to really meditate on it, because it's going to be a hard one to navigate. Just, you've got to be grounded for this energy. It's because it's feeling like it's, you know what it feels like? It's making people question themselves. It's the distortion is just making people feel like they're a bit delusional. Well, it's not. That's the projection from the lower order. The lower order is projecting so much, you know, delusional sort of energy right now, but because they're projecting onto the collective, more so those that are trying to clean up this kind of crap, you know, that the ones that are awake. So people are thinking like, God, I'm feeling real delusional, you know, and that's not your energy. You've got to call back your energy. So that's happening. They've got their fucking sorcerers and their weird, crazy witchcraft really pushing hard right now. They're really going to town on distorting the energy. That's all it is. So because it's like they're just hitting every single like backup plan they've got. I mean, that tells me if they're hitting all their backup plans right now, that tells me they are literally on their last legs. So one Saturday, once I was reconnected to this room, I was seeing these men again, and the new army was they've already hit 99%. They've already done a major 99% the clearing of on the dimensions. So they've done 99% of like completed extractions of like real dense energy from people, lower level energy, reptilian energy and demonic energy. It's weird, but they've already hit their 99% achievement, which explains everything, because without their little dense dark energy source, which makes them feel powerful, right? They've lost it, so now it's making them go crazy. Look at the state of the world right now. Look at the state of society. It is pure chaos and madness. Go back to my chaos and madness video I did months ago. I was discussing this. It's going to get really bad. So there was talk in this room amongst these men, and there was this discussion of how many, well, chosen ones, divine beings, selected ones. You know, you can decide how you want to label those that, you know, he did the call basically, because we all get chosen, but not everybody can be chosen because not everybody heeds the call. So it really doesn't matter, does it? It's just, you know, I don't care about that spiritual jealousy, but it's out there, it's a thing. But you know, we all get called, but not everybody heeds the call. The mission's too hard for some, so you know, so technically you are selected, chosen divine beings, but these like to eliminate divine beings because they're very powerful. These people need cults to get power. They think their power is in numbers. For them it is. But that's not true power. That's not real power. They don't have access to real power at all. They don't have access to what we get access to. They don't have access to the higher realms. They don't have access to the universal Akash because they're so corrupted, because it's all about intention in your heart space. That's, you know, so what knowledge they do have is not all of it. So they're out there really pushing to eliminate all of these sort of like divine beings right now. They hate them. They hate them. So, but the problem is they are a lot of them are divinely protected. So what's really happening right now is there's a lot of weird monitoring. There's a lot of spying, basically. Spying in the astral, there's like your normal astral spying, but then there's your physical spying, your surveillance and all that kind of crap. But no, divine beings don't care about that because they don't do anything wrong. It's just that they have to be monitored because they have to. You've got to understand the frequency. You can see these frequencies from these divine beings from space. You've got to understand how powerful their frequency is, their energy frequency. So that is what is emanating into basically the universe. That emanates so bright, it hits radar systems and everything. It triggers it like, oh shit. So, and you will always know when you're doing serious sort of energy work and you're connecting to the higher dimensions, because your frequency, like, it's like whoosh. But once that hits the sort of radar system, just because it's energy interferes with technology, that's how it is. But once it sort of affects that, hits that sort of technology, you'll notice like a lot more air activity, you know, helicopters and stuff like that. So that's kind of how you know you're really sort of hitting those. That's some deep meditation. That's all it does. So that causes like, it's almost like what I was feeling was, just use me as an example, because when I connect to the universe and all that good stuff, and I connect to those high dimensions, my energy is online, literally. And I don't know if if my frequency is just sort of triggering the red as I'm sort of, you know, connecting and doing a lot of astral work. So it's I felt like, oh, for fuck's sake, she's online. That one's online again. That's how it felt. So that's how it felt like, you know. But again, go back to the divine beings. They don't like it. They don't like these divine beings because they're very powerful. They can cause shifts alone. They can literally cause shifts. So whatever is planned and plotted and implemented by the lower order, those that do their sort of like weird sorcery work and stuff like that, and their astral, you know, or they do their sort of dimensional work, astral work, but they haven't got nothing on divine beings at all. So they can't, we're not the same. So the new army, the Plantain warriors, they were, okay, they're right on the astral, they're just basically on the dimensions right now, just doing what they do, global, like right around the world right now. And as we're sort of monitoring, as I was sort of seeing these 13, this is the visuals I was shown, these 13s were discussing particular divine beings that they were, you know, planning to take out, to remove from the planet, literally. I have to be careful what I say because of YouTube. And I was like, okay, oh really? So this is the game you're playing, is it? This is, okay, so this is what's on the agenda for you, you know, you people. And as I'm sort of thinking, like, really? You know, this kind of crap. What I saw, probably, again, right, you can go right back to symbolism, you can look at it symbolically, or you can look at it literally, you can look at it however you want to. But what I was seeing is the new army, the warriors came in, and it happened so fast. They literally just snapped the necks of 5 of these top architects. I'm like, whoa. Because you got to remember, the Plantain warriors, the new army, they are the highest, they're from the highest realm, they're from the 14th dimension. They are literally like an elite global warriors, right? For the dimensions, they are literally fighting interdimensional war right now. So again, you can have an open mind for this, but they're not gonna, they're protecting, literally protecting all the divine beings right now on fucking planet Earth from these lower order. So this is their intentions. 5 of them were so graphically ferocious about what they were planning to do, and the others, the rest of them, were just like in absolute shock, like, whoa, because the new army, the warriors, that came in, and again, they are not part of the physical realm. They are multidimensional. They are literally on the dimensions, but they can interfere with the 3D if they need to. But my God, they're just like, I couldn't even. They just snapped the necks of 5 of them at the table at this meeting. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know when this is going to happen, but this is a future timeline we're looking at. And the rest of them were just like, what the fuck? You know, they were like freaking out. Like, of course they would, because they couldn't do anything. They couldn't see. They couldn't see who took them out, because they're not part, but they are that powerful. They can affect, you know, you don't want to mess with these freaking new army right now. They are beyond comprehensions of human beings. The majority of the brains, no, these are way beyond comprehension. These are very, very powerful. If you think divine beings are powerful, nothing compared to these. So But right now, they're doing major walk-ins to a lot of agents and stuff like that. So they're monitoring a lot of countries right now, because they're monitoring the intentions of the leaders and what the leaders are planning against their own people to get them back into a conformed state of mind, basically. There is a lot of stuff going on right now around the world. There's a lot of wars going on. Obviously, some of them we do know about, but what we was being told was, and because of these architects, again, remember, they affect the global world. So they are interconnected with all leaders. Right now, they are well and truly full-blown under new army surveillance. Every single thing they plan right now and plot is being monitored. The new army will literally end their bloodlines. If they continue going the way if they go the way on the route that they're going right now, they are going to have no fucking bloodlines left to continue at all. They will wipe out their whole bloodline and everything. So that is basically the new army's only goal right now, because they've pretty much done the work they came to do, which I knew they were going to sort of complete that within 2025. Now we're in 2026. This is the year of justice and judgment. This is literal cause and effect year. This is when shit is going to seriously go down. Again, I do explain a lot more, and I really go into detail a lot more but again, this is going to be part of the report book. So as a member, you're going to get the whole hard copies of all of this anyway. But there's a major collapse of like legacy power systems right now, and the divine's had enough. I swear to God, the supreme divine and the whole higher order have had enough. They're intervening, and who do you understand? It's the new army they're sent in. This is what it's all about. You've got to remember, everything that is being plotted is always done first it's all in the spiritual realm, which manifests into the physical. So the remainder of these architects were, whether or not they could understand the warnings they were given at this meeting, but they're about to collapse. Their whole architectural system is about to collapse. So I don't know whether it's them discussing with the world leaders to push for the informational sort of density, the programming, to really have everybody focused on conditioned to be brainwashed into believing we have to worship artificial intelligence. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen anyway, because again, like I say, the sort of like AI mainframe, it's been infiltrated. It's infiltrated by codes. The codes are going to constantly alter and adjust any intentions. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sort of I'm really, tapping in with AI right now, because I want to really understand what's coming from it, and it's really good. There's some amazing aspects of it, but you don't even want to get me started on that negative side of it, because that will ruin people's lives. Oh God, I couldn't even believe. You think deepfake was bad enough? Well, think of deepfake, right? Where you can actually put someone's head on a porn star's body, or someone getting gangbanged, right? Seriously, in a porn movie, and everybody, all those dirty men watching it, going, "Oh my God, that's so-and-so, that's a celebrity." No, it's not. It's somebody else's face being used on someone else's body. It's pathetic. Well, that was deepfake, and a lot of that deepfake stuff's crap. You can tell if you've got half a brain. And you've got, seriously, if you're even using just a few of your brain cells, you can tell it's not real. But the advancements in AI is getting so unbelievable. It's going to be very good to the point where you can still have it investigated, but it's going to look real. And people are so fast asleep. They're like, "Oh my God, we believe everything we see. Oh my God, is that so-and-so and so-and-so? We believe everything the internet tells us and shows us." They can't even think for themselves. It's really embarrassing. So, but that's going to be pushing, it's going to be used for alibis and everything. I was watching something recently, I came across something. some crazy AI app where this guy was just sort of taking video footage in different cafe bars and just taking videos of random people, and just like one guy sat there doing nothing but drinking a coffee. You got the waitress doing what, and then he messes about with his AI, does something with his app, but it looks like he's made it look like the man is touching the woman's butt. I'm like, and he didn't do a damn thing. It wasn't it, that's how clever AI is going to become. That is you get it to that point, you're going to have anarchy. You start using that to try and like set people up for crimes that they haven't even done and stuff like that, you're going to cause fucking anarchy. And the architects of that try to do that and push for that agenda, you are going to see what real anarchy looks like, and it will be your own fault. And you're not going to, you are not, they probably won't get to live to see, because you push that, no, people are going to be like, you cannot be setting people up with AI and thinking that people are going to bow down and accept it. No, it's bad enough that you can ruin people's lives right now with lies and all that fucking shit with AI the way it is with deepfake. But you push for the next level of that, you need to get ready for the anarchy, that, because I'm telling you, anarchy is coming from that AI shit. If you start pushing that agenda, and again, that's what the lower order's doing. That's what their programmers are doing right now to get it ready for weird, strange setups and everything. You got to be ready for this, I'm telling you. And then on the other side of that, they're trying to use AI to use as the alibis, to use like, well, it's not us, we didn't do that, we weren't there, because that's just AI. So they're going to be using AI to get them out of the crimes against humanity, but they're going to be using the same AI tactic to set people up for crimes they didn't do. Do you see where I'm going with this? If these people seriously fucking think the higher order and the new army are going to allow these architects and their little fucking puppets push this shit in the future, that's the delusion. Yeah, they can start saying goodbye to their bloodlines, because the higher order will just take them all out. This isn't like humans on humans wars. They're pushing. You've got to understand what these people have been working with for a very long time. There is a lower order, different species they work with, and then there is a higher order species that they work with. They will intervene. And I'm telling you something else that we were foreseen and was shown as well. It was like, kind of, it was crazy. And again, you can look at you can listen to what I'm talking about, and you can take it literally, or you can take it symbolically. You can look at it however you want to, but you watch how far they push. You've got people on the run. You've got people just passing away. You've got people around. Everybody's just like, people are dying. People are just losing loved ones like left, right and centre on a very high and faster scale. That's not quite normal. There's justice being played out, but it's affecting, you see, when you're dealing with evil people, they don't have empathy. They don't care about losing loved ones per se, but they need the bloodline to continue, because these people are born into these positions. These people continue this demented shit that's been going on for centuries now. So they have to have a bloodline to continue the legacy, to remain in these powerful positions. Those bloodlines are going to get ended. This is how far they've pushed. They've gone beyond. They've gone way beyond the crossed line they shouldn't have crossed. So, and that's pretty much, and that's seriously just sort of accelerating the shift in the global power dynamics right now, big time, and they're part of that. So, the remaining architects I was sort of seeing in this meeting, that was like, these little creatures, they think they're powerful. They think they're powerful, but the saying is, we are not fighting flesh and blood. We never have been fighting flesh and blood, right? That's how it is. It's always been like that. But guess what? They're not fighting flesh and blood either. You see, just because you got a lower order with evil, right? Demons and everything, then you got the opposite to that. You got the duality of that. You don't get to play with one and not accept the other doesn't exist either. That's just arrogance. So the other side's in play now, and they're a hell of a lot more powerful than the lower order. It's like we can't be out here, you know, like employer, you know, trying to. Well, we're not here to sort of employ fear into the minds anyway, but the fact that they can create so much fear on a daily basis, but we're not allowed to give them a heads up of what's coming for them because we'll be seen to be creating fear. I don't think so. Fear is just a ridiculous emotion, first of all. Nobody needs to fear anything. But if they're suddenly fearing, it's because they've got a lot to fear because of what they've done and what they've done for so long. Now, what I was seeing the timeline we're coming to, because right now we hit future timelines. We're hitting timelines in the coming 3 to 4, well, no, I don't like to go further than a year anyway, but we were hitting a timeline within the next 4 years, and we can't let it get to that. I don't even think the higher order is going to let it get to that. But a lot of countries around the world right now are dealing with serious tyrannical behavior within the governments. They are literally, a lot of countries are the people are fighting back. I don't know why people think just like from, I don't know why they think protests work. They don't, because you've got to remember the leaders are selected, first of all. They're not normal people. They have been put there, right? But the pushback, a lot of people, the more they keep pushing back and the more they keep creating these shifts, the more their own people are waking up. And this is what's happening. So now the higher order is well and truly in control right now. And again, the removal and the abstractions of all this dense energy from people is helping them go through an awakening. So a lot of people that were sort of like possessed, I guess, in some ways with dense dark energy or whatever, but once they lose that, once they have that extraction done, they are suddenly going through, they're going full-blown chaotic and off the chart, or they're going through a spiritual awakening, which means they're waking up. And a lot of people are waking up. A lot of people are waking up to the literal global tyranny right now. So a lot of countries are fighting back against their own governments. And right now, those government leaders of these certain countries are really in the process of pushing back against their own people. Here's what I saw, and I don't care, I can't prove it, but I don't care. I'm going to go with what I saw, right? And to be perfectly honest, this is just basic, simple psychological pattern recognition, right? This is not going to be rocket science. You push your people. Remember, you can use your military against your people, but remember your people, your military has loved ones that are part of their people. When the spell breaks, it's going to come to a point where a lot of leaders are going to be, and a lot of leaders are going to have their hierarchies give orders to their military systems, right? Because that's exactly what these people are right now, systemized. They're going to give orders to their military to fight and turn on their own people, to shoot their own people. Well, we know in the past that's always happened, but something's changed. There's been a huge shift. A lot of those people that have been systemized into regimes and all that good stuff, I've been there myself, they're also waking up. They're also understanding the literal leadership tyranny that's in play right now. And they're watching their own people and they're understanding, why are we shooting our own people on the orders of a piece of fucking shit that shouldn't even be in that powerful position in the first place? This is where we're going. This is where these leaders, these global leaders across the world are pushing their own militaries to question their orders. And those are the higher ranking hierarchy that are giving these orders, what I was seeing was, this, I didn't like it. I didn't like to see this, but they're going to push, they're going to be given orders, and the people are going to be the people are starting to fight back, literally, like they're going to take out the governments and everything. So what do? The military gets these orders, stop the people from coming near, coming at the government people, basically. Don't let them come near the powerful people. Stop the people. And do you know what the military did? The military, and it started with one country, and I don't know what country started it. I don't know if it was a European country. One country, one military in one country defied the orders, and they shot the hierarchies, and then they basically turned on the government. They actually took out their own governments because the people were about to sort of, just think of like the revolution, you know, French Revolution back in the day, you know, generally Antoinette, that kind of crap, right? Think of this on a globe, think of this on a global stage, however, on a global scale. But this one country, I don't know if it was it Africa or was it Europe? Because I was seeing so much. I was like being shown so much, and I'm thinking, oh God, it was really bad. And then I remember they were ready to sort of shoot their own people, the military. It was really, really disturbing, and I thought, no. I felt like I was watching a film. And then all of a sudden, the military turned around and shot their own. They shot their own, not the people, they shot their own government and everything, like, you know, the leaders and everything. And then the people just went, whoa. Because they didn't want to shoot their own people. They weren't going to kill their own people for psychopathic leaders anymore. I think what's happened, I don't think what these people in power don't realise is the shift changed everything. It's not, they're not in control anymore like they used to be. This is why they're pushing AI. They're trying to make everything look so artificial, so they're causing so many psyops and everything. They're trying to make everything look real when it's not. But the reality is the very people that they're pushing to try and reconform and get people back in order, they're not doing it anymore. They're fighting back. And this is making them weaponize their military regimes, the systems. And then all of a sudden, but now the military regimes are like, no, this is just, something's very wrong. They know there's something wrong with it. They know it's not right. And they don't want to be killing their own people. Because remember, their own people are their own families. And that's exactly what's breaking these military personalities like, why are we, what are we going to do? Kill our own family because our king leader told us to, because our king commander told us to, because our general told us to kill our own people. That's when you know there's a huge distortion in absolute power, just out of whack. It's not normal. Because why would your generals and your all of those sort of hierarchy start wanting to kill their own people too? You see, these are just simple questions you should, but they're not normal. These people are psychopaths. And just by giving those sort of orders proves that. So we're going, what's happening is the way we're going right now, we're pushing so many, it's just bad. You can feel it. I can feel it, even like just being connected to this energy. God, and the other night it was just really bad. I'm like, I don't want to see this sort of stuff. But you know, we have to see it. It's really, really, again, the institutional rejection of tyrannical authority is framed as a global phenomenon rather than isolated occurrences. So this is part of the report. So basically what we're seeing is it's not just isolated sort of occurrences we're seeing in one country right now where the militaries or the law enforcement is turning on their own people and stuff like that. No, this is not just one. It's going to become a global phenomenon because this is going to happen in every country. Every country, the people are going to fight back. And right now, what you've got to understand is too, what the higher order wants people to understand is the new leadership roles are going to be filled in the next 4 years. The leaders, new leadership is going to be taking over these roles, these awful leaders. But these leaders are extremely, they're they're divine beings. Because they're humans, but they're divine, very, you know, very multidimensional, but they're very, very awake, very non-biased or anything. They don't like politics, but they will fix political structures if they need to. You're talking like, you know, the justice systems are going to change. When if they push for this, it's going to change. It's going to change so much. It's going to change legal systems and everything. It has to. But I feel like one country is going to start the domino effect. When one country is seen to be standing up again, one country of their people start seen to be talking billions of people. People have had enough. I don't think these people realise just how much they push people. Like, they can't. The brainwashing tactics are not working anymore. Not even the high levels of porn to distract the men, right, are working anymore. Right? The whole programming, and it's nothing's working anymore. Not the way they think it is. So they're running out of mind control methods. But, you know, the resulting destabilizations are presented not as chaos, for example, but as a transitional phase that creates conditions for leadership restructuring. That's what's happening. Emerging leaders are portrayed as assuming authority for public legitimacy rather than coercion. That's what I'm talking about. Operating in service to civilian populations rather than centralised domination. These figures are depicted as replacing legacy power holders whose authority was sustained through force rather than accountability. That's what's happening, right? That's what's happening. Now, these secret societies, I already know they're getting decimated. I already know that they're going to be dealt with. If they're not already decimating themselves, which I already feel like some of them are, but they are going to be getting completely wiped out. They're going to get decimated completely. Some are probably just going to run, you know, but they've lost power. They will never regain power in the future ever again, and they really need to just be focusing on what's left of their bloodlines right now, because they will be written off history, literally. So, but again, a lot of those sort of powerful positions of people in secret societies right at the top, we don't even know who they are anyway. So we're not going to care about remembering them in any part of like the history books or anything. So, but again, they do need their bloodlines to continue their legacy. The legacies are ending. Like I said, the higher order. There is one powerful being that is most powerful than in any fucking dimension, in any universe, and that is the supreme divine, the highest, most high God energy. It's the most powerful energy. That is that's part of the highest order. That is what's in control right now. You know, it's like father's home from work, right? Had enough, had a hard day at work, like, think of this thousands of years later, fucking had enough of this shit, right? Kids playing up again, are they? The evil ones, right? Well, that's it. Daddy's home now, so that's it. Everything he's just dealing with everything, but just, you know, distribute. If you want to look at it like as if metaphorically, like so. There's a different level of power and control right now, but we're not going to see that until the final clearing's done. So the transitional. Right now, let me just go over the summary because I want to focus on the transitional phase and timeline assessment that I'm working on right now. Seeing it's unfolding in real time. Marked by the activation of what described within the framework as projected positive future trajectory. That's where we're sort of heading. And because we're heading on that positive timeline, the literal timelines right now in the present, they are just ferocious. They are just... There's so many, it's hard to sort of, just every time I connect to a timeline, a future timeline to see where we're going, it gets altered by a negative one because there's so much chaos going on and it's causing weird energetic shifts, and it's causing what should be a positive timeline to become negative. So now I think of the new army, okay, well, let's jump to that timeline and correct that one and fix that one, and, you know, let's get it back on track, and a lot of weird interdimensional astral work going on. It's like Yeah, you need to meditate after it, I'm telling you. So yeah, again, just the assessment emphasizes that movement towards a positive future state is iterative and conditional, requiring engagement with present challenges as outdated systems dissolve and new frameworks emerge. We're literally implementing the new frameworks right now. So I think people just need to get the houses in order. Everybody, just start thinking for yourself. Start thinking more than anything. Stop freaking out. Stop fearing anything right now, because the old system's collapsing. They can push for AI. They can push for the new world order. The new army. You're not going to let a new world order take over. The higher dimensional beings and the higher order and the supreme divine is in control. All you've got right now is little adult children throwing absolute demonic tantrums. That's all that's happening right now, and trying to just basically distort every single positive thing that's coming out. So they're just distorting it with yeah, crap, bullshit. And again, you're going to see a huge increase in the mainstream media pushing these disgusting little paid liars are going to be pushing so much shit. You've got to now. There's a lot going on in this country, as we know. There's a lot of chaos going on, a lot of protesting and stuff like that. I don't want to focus too much on one country because I'm more for what's going on globally. Oh, hello there. I don't want that. So, a lot of it, again, just remember there is also a lot of propaganda going on. So for the love of God, use your brains. Not everything you see on the internet is real. And remember, a lot of people are not showing full videos, right? Remember, there are certain narratives that are being pushed by the evil ones. And the evil ones are in your media, right? These are the enemy of the people. Understand the sort of people you're dealing with. And then ask yourself, why should we believe what you're spewing out your mouth? Why should we believe what you're showing us? Those are just clips. There's not full videos. Where's the rest of the footage? Why does nobody ask basic, simple questions like, where's the rest of the content? Where's the real story? Where's the rest of it? Why are you just showing fucking snippets? Why are you pushing everybody? Why are you playing with everybody's emotions? Why are you pushing the emotions? Why are you pushing fear onto the emotions of the people? These people are evil. These people are paid to be evil. To do these jobs and to be paid liars the way they are, you have to have a level of evil, and you've probably been initiated anyway when you're in your little fucking sorority sister fucking hoods at fucking universities and your little brotherhood, right? All that kind of shit. These are initiated. These are the sort of people in your evil systems that have been initiated before they even left fucking universities. It's all bullshit. So ignore them. They're not relevant at all. And in the coming years, they're going to lose these positions. Because when the new legacy kit takes over, you seriously think you're going to see these same people report on the news? I don't think so. Some of them are going to be in prison. Some of them are not going to be here. They're evil. They're paid liars. And they're paid to be evil. Search out your independent news outlets. So, but you can do what you want. But if you're, no, I'm not too worried. You're not going to see a lot of these people in the future. There's going to be accountability, whether they like it or not, whether they like taking accountability for their actions or whether they like the rules. These people are going to be dealing with, they're going to be taking accountability. You cannot be the enemy of the people, right? And then spew so much fear through the mechanisms that you can and then think you're going to get away with it, because that causes a lot of problems in societies. That is a lot of blood on these people's hands just by spewing lies. So, I don't listen to any of them. Okay. But again, as a disclaimer, this material reflects interpretive perceptions derived from personal remote viewing session and is presented as informational and exploratory purposes only. All descriptions, interpretations or conclusions are subjective in nature and represent the experience's perspective rather than verified and empirically validated facts. So just remember that. Again, come to watch me, you just need an open mind and an open heart. But, you know, a lot of it can be subjective to remember, a lot of it can be symbolic. But I'm only giving you what I experience. I'm only explaining what I'm experiencing. So you just need to, you don't need to believe me, you just need to have an open mind. And then, again, as we're seeing, a lot of the stuff I've been discussing since February 2024, it's all coming to pass. Major raids going on right now in Arizona, which I already foretold were going to be coming in. I even said last year, 2024, I was discussing major raids in this state across the whole country. Major raids are going down. I already foresaw all of that. So, and it's all happening. Large organisations getting absolutely raided and everything. Oh God, so much. It's just, there's a lot going on. And really, I thought it was going to be more sporadic, but it's not. It's almost like they've gone, how about we just do it all at once? Because then it doesn't give the enemy time to sort of like react. It's weird, it's hard to explain. Then at the same time, on the other note, there was a lot of people running and hiding. There was a lot of flights being cancelled, and using the weather as the excuse. I understand that, but it's also good opportunities to catch these people by stopping them from getting on planes, and so there's a lot going on. Remember, just because you're always going to have amazing agents, right? Just because you've got corrupt agencies doesn't mean all your agents are corrupt. It just means they're bad eggs. Give the agencies a really bad name, the rest of them. So remember that when you're being fed bullshit through the mainstream media. Just remember that. Not just because the agencies are corrupted, right, by bad eggs doesn't mean all of the agents are corrupted or bad. So it's the good ones that are going to be... Hang on, let me just see if I can... Okay, there's my dimensional door, so I'm going to be ready to go through to the next timeline soon. It's the good ones that are going to turn on the bad ones, and it's the good ones that are going to turn on those giving out the orders that they shouldn't be giving out. Because remember, it will get worse before it gets better, but eventually the good ones will start to realise we can't do this, because if we can do this to anybody, our own people, they can do it to our loved ones, because our loved ones are our people. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's how they're going to start thinking very soon, and that is going to cause a domino effect within the military systems, within the different regimes, within the different agencies. Eventually the good ones are going to be like, no, we can't, and there's more of us good ones than there is bad. They're going to understand this. They're going to take a stand. And then they're going to ignore the orders. This is how revolutions always ended. By good people no longer sitting back and doing nothing. This is why revolutions always come to the conclusion that the people take the power back in all countries. This isn't just one country. This is a global problem right now. Look at the fucking state of Europe. That bad leadership. You seriously think Europe isn't even Europe anymore? Go to European countries. You seriously think you're going to see European culture? No, I don't think so. Because the leadership have destroyed it from within. So now remember, military regimes are not going to fight for a country that is now overtaken by foreigners that don't even belong in their countries, or even stand for their culture, or even represent, or they want to change they want to come to different countries and then turn it into their countries. Our militaries aren't going to fight for that. Our militaries aren't going to fight for those people against our own people. What are you talking about? I'm supposed to be a soldier for this country. Why am I fighting? Why am I in a part of an army of people that are not even supposed to be here? And then I got to turn on my own people because I might offend these people that shouldn't even be here. How long do you think people are going to put up with that fucking bullshit? I swear. You seriously think even the most patriotic regimes are going to stand for that? No. These leaders are absolutely delusional. They are absolute off the fucking charts right now. That's what they're pushing in these European countries. Go to Europe and take a look for yourself. Go and speak to the people. And that's what's really going on in their countries. But nobody's doing that. They're just believing the shit that is being fed into them by mainstream media. And you seriously think there's not going to be a big revolutionary global pushback going on? People are going to start taking back their countries, and they're going to get rid of their leaders, whether the leaders like it or not. And it's not the people that are going to get rid of the leaders. It's the military regimes they've been training, who are supposed to take the orders, are going to reject the orders and go, tot off. They're not going to fight for a country that no longer is theirs, are they? Use your brains. This is not rocket science. And you want to watch Europe very carefully, because this is what is going to cause a global shift. So the lower order really just needs to be like, well, they're not very smart really, are they? They just think because they've got the power is in numbers, that they've got lots of intelligent brains. A lot of these brains are brainwashed and mind controlled, not always that smart. And they're basically, again, tyranny will only get you so far. It never wins. It never did. History can tell you that. Just go back, just go back to history and like, how did it really work then? No. Only for a while. Oh God. So, okay, that's, yeah, that devil energy, that low vibrational energy, that is, oh God, that's getting, the matrix constructs. It's all, there's a lot of this is for research and consciousness study purposes only, so just be aware of that. But I'm giving you my stance on what I do and what I have to deal with on me. What I have to see is like, really, I wouldn't change my mission or my destiny or anything like that. I wouldn't change my life at all, because it's not normal and I love it. I'm not normal and I love it. But it's amazing to see the changes that are coming, because it's the people that are going to, again, you can only lose a level of power you give away, and it's the people that are going to fight back for it. So, and the only thing I don't like about any of what's coming, the way we're going, is I don't like the collateral damage. I don't like what we have to lose in order to, take back what belongs to us, basically. If you seriously think we should be living like this in the 21st century, in the year 2026, you are fucking programmed to the highest degree of, like, brainwashed. And you are so fast asleep, good luck waking up. So that nobody should be living the way we are in this, no. Okay. Let me just see if my dimensional door's ready, because I feel like I didn't want to get this ferocious. Oh God, I hate this passionate energy. I hate it, and a lot of it's not even mine. Once I'm sort of tapped in, I can just feel. And you got to remember, right? Once I connect to that quantum grid, I've got like dark elites, like negative people, like those little astral spies, connecting. Right now, they're projecting their energy, so I'm not always pulling on my own. It's like, angry much. Not necessarily my angry energy either. I'm just feeling it and expressing it. Now, Quantum Intelligence is finally published and all that good stuff. Now on sale. And so I made some, like I've got royalties coming in very soon, which means there's books being sold right now, which is fantastic. And Planet Planet. So these are report books, right? This is everything I do. This is pretty much Planet Planet. This is all about the new army. Volume 1. I am already working literally on Volume 2 right now, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to have Volume 2 published and ready for the end of the year. More intelligence, because I'm pioneering. I'm bringing Planet Planet to Earth, literally, to the table, to understand, we're moving very forward. Who the new army are. They originate from the Planet Planet. and you can, again, you can connect to the Planet's planet through mind travel by connecting to the Caribbean Airways frequency, which will be to take you through the 13th, to get through the 13th dimension to the 14th. That's where you can access representatives from Planet's planet. You need an open mind, right? If you're very close-minded and you're not into any of this, it's not going to be for you. Right? So, but it's amazing. It explains who the new army are, the Planet's strand, which is within the human DNA strand. And these were the original humans that got here first. The Planton humans, the Plantons. But the warriors, they are ferocious, right? They are literally the highest light beings, right? Beautiful light beings, but very powerful. But in the formation right now in the lower dimensions, as they're fighting this interdimensional war, they look like they look ferocious. They do not look like they're light beings. They look, you don't want to mess with them, put it that way. So, but I don't mind, because I sort of like, not working with them, but I get a lot of the intelligence from them, and, you know, sit reps, and it's great. I'm just working very closely, you know, I'm just sort of understanding what they're doing. So that's really, and, you know, they're bringing a lot of information from Planet's planet. So definitely catch up. Now, as a member, Patreon members for my red files, you get all of these for free. It's part of your membership. So every time one's published, again, you get signed copies by me. Each copy, every time you get a signed copy, remember, I didn't mention this in one of my videos. I think it was my updated video. Oh, hello. There's some background. Me. Oh, it's sure. That's just cheeky. What's going to happen is, because there's a lot of people trying to steal my intellectual property, right? And some people are going to buy the books and try and whatever they want to do. It's copyright theft and they'll get fucking sued. But people are sharing my shit, and I don't mind. But they're stealing some people are stealing my intellectual property, passing off as their own. They are not me. They'll never be me. Right? First of all, they won't even last a week in my freaking shoes, let alone my mind. So they're thieves. Irrelevant, right? But they are out there, and they are playing off like so they can buy my books and then try and resell them themselves and make up. But what you're going to understand is, my members, when you buy a book directly from me, or when you get it from when you can order, basically you're not even ordering it, because you're just going to get sent a copy of all my books. As I interact with you via Patreon, I'm going to give you a code word. So when you get the book, right, it's going to be signed, right, by me. And the code word is going to be in here. So the code word I'm going to give you before you receive should match this one. As long as you don't tell anybody, right, what it is, but that's what's going to match. Then you know it's coming directly from me. A lot of my books have a lot of code in that. So this is like quantum intelligence. This is pretty much a lot of, these are binary numbers and everything. So I don't read that sort of coding. I don't know that. But this is a year's worth of, literally almost a year's worth of ones and zeros and sequence. Oh God, just the order that they come in, and the days that they come in and everything. That's exactly how they're registered. I don't, because I'm assuming, again, I'm just the messenger. And this is literally the paradox of me as well. So just ones and zeros, ones and zeros. This is a language, obviously. Now, I don't understand this language and I don't know how to read it. I'm just a messenger. So basically, since February up until December, this is almost a year's worth of code, language code. I don't even, if I was to even try and put this into a machine and try and understand it, I don't know how to read it. But there are people out there that understand this code language. So you might want to buy that just to figure out if you can understand the messages within the message, because all of this code is from the highest order, from the higher realms. All of the intelligence I'm bringing to the table are from the higher realms, from the highest order. So that is quantum intelligence. already getting codes every day, and I'm having to, so again, volume 2, we'll probably have a full book of volume 2. I can't force the code, they come naturally. So, and again, they come so naturally, even when I'm driving, I'm like in visuals of like 1s and 0s, and I'm like, crap pants, I gotta race it down, even, you know, get to a red light. Hell, holy crap pants. Let's keep my book in my car, I'm serious. Because I never know when the code's gonna come in. So, and then sometimes I can be just driving, it's like, I'll pass a building, it's like 103, and it's like, what the? I can't ignore that, because that's from, it's weird how it comes through. But I also know, ooh, that's just caught my eye, there's a reason for that. So, but yeah, it comes in so many ways. But again, I don't know that language, so, and again, it's like Morse code. I don't understand Morse code. But when I am channeling, sometimes I can be, that's Morse code apparently. Even my rapid eye movements and everything. Like, you've got to watch my eyes sometimes apparently, because it's like a message within the message. Within the messenger, so I can be bringing intelligence through, and then all of a sudden there's like extra messages within the message, and, you know, because I'm connecting to the multi-dimensions, and, you know, I'm a multi-dimensional person, I'm getting like intelligence from different dimensions, from different sort of representatives, different species. So it's like they've got a message, and they all say, okay, well, I've only got one amazing mind and brain, but just give me a minute, you know, I'll multitask. Like so, but what's going on here? I'm feeling so much, just like real pattern recognition is quite obvious, but it's not just pattern recognition, it's human behavior. It's just, some of it's just like simple, like pattern, behavioral psychology, which causes pattern recognition anyway. But not just that, it's also repeats of history, but we've got to remember a lot of the history that we're being taught is lies. A lot of it's distorted. And this one, for some weird reason, I would say the last 3 sessions, I've been feeling like the Silent Brotherhood have just been at me, right? Connecting and everything, and just bringing, you know, information. And now the way I'm feeling with the Silent Brotherhood is I'm very careful about what I distribute, because I'm still not quite sure of whether they're positive or negative. It's hard. It's hard to, because I don't know anybody personally from me. Obviously nobody does, but and those that do are within the Brotherhood. But they show it in one of my sessions, I think it was my last one, they were showing me, I went right back to freaking King Henry VIII. They were showing me distorted history that was the lies. But again, you'd have to watch that video, obviously, if you remember, you probably already have anyway. But it's weird how so not only the Silent Brotherhood weirdly bringing snippets of history that we didn't know about, and the realities behind them back then in 15th century and stuff like that. It's like, really? Wow, we really were lied. I mean, don't get me wrong, there was a lot of elements of truth that was hidden behind, also truth that was also hidden too. But they didn't use back then. Again, think of it today, the amount of lies they can spew and hold, and everything that can, you know, the lies that they do tell, and the manipulation tactics. Well, they were just as manipulative back then. There just wasn't as many people back then, that's all. History is, this is why I don't like to read people's historical books at all. Stop reading here. I was told to stop reading historical books because a lot of the history is not real. Imagine that. Everything we believe we know about true history is not even real. So now I've got to look at some of the text and go, what the fuck did I read? What I've read growing up, was any of that even true? Probably not. It's because you remember, who controls the system owns the knowledge and what will be distributed to us. So why would you ever want to believe half the shit you've read in the past when it's owned by the same set of architects of generationally taken over the roles to keep the information constricted, to keep us in line. So you've got to question everything, and you've got to question what you've read. And again, I don't get my knowledge from people, and I don't get my knowledge from books and other people's work either. I go straight to the highest order. I've already been told, stop reading right now. You want to know something, you want anything, you want knowledge, I can go to different, I can go to the higher order and get different versions of it. That's what I feel like is coming out, different versions, and you know, it's actually feeling more truthful than, so. But then there are other messengers as well that bring in knowledge to the table, so they are out there too. But I think you just gotta be careful what you're reading. You know, don't read something and just think, oh God, that's it, that's true. No, not even my stuff. Gotta have an open mind. And I'm not here to change or infringe on people's beliefs, but you just need to understand that there's a possibility of a hell of a lot more that you didn't know before because it's been hidden. So some of us are bringing what was hidden from us back to this reality, to the future, because we have a right to the knowledge, we have a right to know, we have a right to truth. So I think that's what's yeah, oh, it's just, we're moving in the right direction, but I just, yeah, so the Silent Brotherhood, I mean, I'm intrigued if they want to come through and tap into my energy and allow me to sort of see and connect and bring in the knowledge and what they want me to know. I mean, even if it was a negative brotherhood, for example, there's still probably good ones within it. That, you know, I don't know, but I know that there's changes. There are different. There's legacy changes and everything, so they may be part of they may actually be helping for the change, you know, obviously they're silent, they're hidden for a reason, so they're clearly hiding, I feel like they've been hiding knowledge from the negative ones for a very long time. Also, here we go, I feel like I just got kicked. I just got slapped in the face a little bit to like come back to the key. That's who it is. Silent Brotherhood. Their emphasis is on the key. There are keys, frequency keys that have knowledge and access to everything. These architects and all the negative ones, they all want the keys. They all want access to what the keys can give. They call them frequency keys, but they are and to me I call them interdimensional bridges anyway, because they get access to all of the realms, but they get access to the knowledge they get. And that's why I feel like the Silent Brotherhood is really sort of tapped in, like, okay, well, just remember the keys need to be protected, not used, not thrown away. I mean, if you go to the negative side, if you're corrupted, or you're what's the word? Yeah, if you're recruited or initiated into the negative power structures, not only will those evil creatures take the knowledge, but they will literally get rid of the keys. They will just literally like off them. That's what they do when they're no longer needed. They need them for anything. Once they get the knowledge that they require to move forward, to push them back into, to regain the power and control. That's what's going on here. So they're desperately looking for these frequency keys to try and corrupt them. But the problem is the Silent Brotherhood's like, no, they're not corrupt. The ones out there in the world right now are not corruptible. So they're pretty much they're pioneering, navigating it themselves. They don't need to go to again, it's all about cults. It's all about society, secret societies again. You're going to understand these frequency keys, a lot of these divine beings that I'm talking about, they are literally, they've done this lifetime after life cycle. They know it all. They understand how these secret societies work. They have pretty much, they've probably been eliminated by them in the past life cycles, and learn when they come back and go, right, we're gonna stay away from those creatures. So now they know, because believe it or not, remember the ones that are on missions, the divine beings on missions, they're coming back into these new life cycles, remembering everything. Those that hear the corrupt ones are not remembering anything. That is why they're easier to manipulate and mind control. And that's why a lot of people of souls are coming back not remembering. But a lot of divine beings have come back remembering everything, and they're remembering at a very early age in childhood, because they know their mission is so important in this generation. Because if we don't start altering and fixing and doing stuff differently, we're not even going to have, and the way I'm talking, we're not going to have generations left to move forward. And if this new world order kicks off, are you fucking for real? You can say goodbye to civilization in the way you think. It's going to be owned and controlled by these little creatures and their disgusting little bloodlines. And you seriously think the higher order is going to allow them to survive? I don't think so. No. There is divine justice in play right now. You see, this is the thing about the arrogance of these people. They believe in the lower order, obviously. They believe in the devil energies. Some believe in Lucifer. They believe in all of that. They believe in low-dimensional reptilian beings. They believe in all of those low-level alien energies, right? But then they don't believe there's an opposite version of them, that there's higher dimensional beings, is a real God. That they've got the devil, but not the God. You can't believe... If you believe in God, it's because of the devil. And if you believe in the devil, it's because of God, right? If you've got to be arrogant and so dumb to think there's just one and not the other. And obviously history does tell us that good always wins. Light will always outshadow darkness. It always does. But however you want to look at this, religiously, spiritually, parapsychologically, just logically, you cannot have one without the other. It's the polarity of it. So it blows my mind that these creatures, you always believe it's just our way. There's no other way. There's no powerful being bigger than us. Can you imagine that? Right? There's no bigger master than our master. There is no one more powerful than the devil. Oh, I think there fucking is. Thank you very much. A lot of humans are more powerful than your little devil energy. So let's get that straight. That devil energy is a coward. Can't do anything. So he gets his little human minions to do his dirty little deeds for him. It's an energy. But if we're going to talk about the literal Lucifer himself as a fallen angel, where is he? Where is he, huh? He's not the one writing these little contracts here, like, sell me your soul. He's nowhere to be seen because he's a coward and he's a liar. So, and then you don't think there's a powerful God? It's mind-blowing the high levels of arrogance within the lower order and all of that crap, and the realm of spirituality and the spiritual community as well. You've got people coming into the spiritual community like, we know everything, oh my god, we're this and we're that, but but they're still functioning off the unhealthy ego, and they're absolutely spiritually jealous. So they're not even evolved humans. And secondly, you're not self-actualized or anything if you're jealous of other spiritualists in the spiritual community. That's not how it's supposed to be. Unless you're a negative human, bringing negativity into spirituality, and you're more towards the dark side of dark aspects of everything, and you function off your shadow side. Well, then yeah, you're in the spiritual community, but you're on the wrong side. So again, these are the same ones that think light isn't we're more powerful than light. No, you're not. But please tell yourself that. We can do this and we can do that, and we're sorcerers, and we abuse voodoo and we abuse witchcraft, and we can hurt people, and well, guess what? So can the divine. And the divine is a hell of a lot more. You're not even divine, you're not even divine within yourselves or anything. And secondly, the supreme divine is a hell of a lot more powerful than you little human arrogant scum that are out there manipulating energy and hurting people. Okay then. Ooh, clearly went somewhere there, didn't I? So, I mean, you only have to just adopt a little bit of critical thinking there. You know, a bit of common sense would tell you that's, yeah, it never works. And again, energy is energy. So whatever energy you're utilizing or using or putting out there to hurt another human being or to send anywhere, that is your energy. It's the it's just mind-blowing. I can't believe I have to constantly have to explain this to people, but it's what you put out there comes back. So, and it comes back a hell of a lot worse than what you send out too. So you're out there sending like death energy. I mean, who are you to decide the death of anybody? Everybody has a death date. You're not the angel of death. You're not God. But apparently these people think they are. You people out there, you think you're gods. No, you're not even close. Not with that attitude. So, no. And thinking that you can send sickness spells and death spells to people and fucking beauty spells. I mean, how insecure have you got to be when you got to send beauty spells out to other people because you're fucking jealous? You're low level, you're low tier. You're not even remotely relevant at that point. When you're about as low tier and low level as that, you're not even remotely relevant. That's it. You're not, you don't even know who you are. You don't even like yourself. How can you? It's weird, but please, you know, fuel off your insecurities and mind-blowing. Where can you self and where can self-loving, you know, get some therapy at that point. But that's why I don't like the spiritual community. I don't like a lot of these, very careful about, just as a parapsychologist, I'm very careful about who I'm interacting, who are claiming to be high vibration and stuff like that. I read energy, so if I turn up and I've entered what looks like a fucking cult gathering, or okay, well, these are all people that are coming into, are waking up and they're all following me for guidance. It's like, okay, so you're a cult leader. Nobody should be following anybody. You should be following yourselves. You take the knowledge, you go within, you go to your higher self, and you go to the highest order or the supreme divine and ask for guidance. You do not follow, you don't take the pure guidance from just one person, because you're going to be codependent, spiritually codependent, and then unfortunately, without realizing you're doing it, you're going to feed the ego of that leader. And we always know what happens to leaders that get a little bit of a good fuel. They think they're self-actualized. It's only when they start realizing, oh, my ego's being fed, I've got all of this attention. That goes to, even a self-actualized person has to check, you know, keep their ego in check. Because you'd be amazed how easily it is to get, you know, just like, I just got a big ball of power. And that's what spiritual codependent energy will do. It will give you a sense of power. And if you don't, and if you're not fully self-possessed either, that's going to go right to your head. So I'm very careful about, that's why I don't like to go to these sort of spiritual fairs and stuff like that. I see a lot of that. I see, it's weird. And then and again, and it's great that there's a lot of healers out there, obviously, but I'm just very careful about, and it's always the same types of people, so it's like, where's the rest of the spiritual community? What else? Is this all you've got? Tarot readers and Reiki healers and stuff? Is this it? It shouldn't be like that. There should be a hell of a lot more. There should be more than this. So, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, there really isn't, but where's the rest? It's just, it's weird. It's always the same types of sort of spiritualists, and that to me feels like, well, if you're on this sort of tour and you're following this sort, that means you've got to be known within that weird community to be, no, don't like any, that's when I start having a problem with it. And then people coming in, like outsiders coming in, they start to look funny, they look down on other outsiders coming in. It's like, oh, no, that's not how that works. You shouldn't be looking down at anybody. and that, if you're supposed to be high vibing. So, and this is where you can always root out a lot of charlatans too, because they will come into the spiritual community and absolutely abuse it and use it, and you know, you've got to be very careful. Nothing wrong with tarotology at all. It is just a way to connect to the energy, but you know, just be careful. At the end of the day, I'm not saying, because it's just cards. It's not. That's not where the energy is coming from. The tools. It's divination tools. That's all. So a lot of people really come in and they're not very self-possessed, and they don't fully understand. They just believe everything because they're going through changes and they're going through awakenings, and they start talking to you spiritually, so where they're getting guidance from. It might not always be the correct guidance. It might not always be the most positive guidance either. And before you know it, you're going to end up with, like, spiritually confused. Well, what's what then? Then you start going to you start tampering into the divinations, and you start expanding your mind without waiting to let the knowledge absorb and then go within. A lot of the information you need and the truth is within you. So you go to connect to your higher self, connect to source. We've all got access to it. So, and then before you know it, you're going to be influenced by people on the dark side of it, and the dark divination, the abusers of it. And then you're going to start tampering all kinds of crap you don't fully understand, and then you're going to be in trouble. Then you're going to deal with, like, spiritual psychosis. This is what these people don't tell you. And I'm telling you something else about the spiritual community while I'm being honest, because I'm a true speaker. Not everything is not love and fucking light. It is not love and light. It is ferocious. Going through spiritual awakenings is ferocious. But I'm sick and tired of seeing all of these spiritualists out there. It's love and light, stay on the love and light side and you'll be alright. Love and light and you'll be alright. Well, of course you will. However, have you done the shadow work? Do you think the shadow aspects of yourself are going to disappear just because you've evolved a little bit? You've got to maintain that. If you're dealing with traumas and you're healing traumas, you've got to maintain it. Because it's not always love and light, and we are not just fighting flesh and blood. So you better be self-actualized, and you better be self-possessed and everything, because the moment you start upgrading and ascending your energy, and you're really, like, meditating a lot and tapping in, you're going to attract the dark side of people, because you're going to be functioning off a slightly different higher vibrational frequency, and that triggers people, that triggers low vibes. And now you're going to start seeing other people coming into your energy and trying to manipulate you, try and bring you back down, or try and harvest your energy, basically. And then obviously the more you really tap in, the more you start doing a lot more healing on yourself, a lot more healing and ascending and healing, and you've really functioning that, getting that high vibrational frequency even more powerful and higher than it usually is. Then you're going to start, you're really tapped into those, the dimensions. Then you're starting tapping into the sort of spiritual realms. Now you're going to be dealing with, like, devils, energies, new levels, new devils. You've got to be ready for them. This is why you need to do the shadow work, and this is why you need to be really powerful within you, so you don't have to deal with them, because they will come for you. This is what love and lighters in the spiritual community don't want to really discuss, but it's the most important thing to discuss. That is what you're going to deal with. You've got to be careful. Then you've got to be careful too, because those that won't tell you the truth, they're the ones that will be secretly harvesting your energy and sucking off your energy and your life force, right? And be careful with these meditation circles. I don't take part in this sort of stuff. You're joking, right? No. Be careful about who I meditate with anyway. I like to be I meditate alone. Secondly, I don't do these ritual circles where I'm sharing my energy with people I don't even know. You're joking, right? That's the fastest way to people to harvest off your energy. And if you don't know their true intentions and what they're fully involved in, you don't know if they're sending fucking energy at you. It's just weird, but okay, you can do what you want. Know who you're sort of like, know who you're meditating with before you meditate with them. Energy is everything. Energy is important. It is, and when you are spiritually rich, that is currency. Your energy is literal currency, and there's no amount of physical money in a fair dimensional realm that can ever buy your spiritual currency. Joking, right? You can be a billionaire, right? But that's nothing if you're not spiritually rich. You can be spiritually rich and be working paycheck to paycheck, but you are the richest human being on the planet because you're spiritually rich. Because your energy is currency. Your energy is the sort of currency these evil creatures want. Even with all their billions, they still can't buy it. They can't afford it. Understand that, you'll understand everything. So, and that is why they like to corrupt the very, very high vibing divine beings, because we are spiritually wealthy. We are some of the richest people on the planet, spiritually, financially. Just come and go. We're always going to be okay, right? But we have a peace. We have love. We have self-love. We have peace. Can't buy peace, right? Not at all. We have no drama. We have true happiness, right? That money didn't buy, because you can't buy happiness, right? You can buy luxury things, and we have a level of self-love that no amount of money on this planet can buy, right? It comes from within first before it comes from externally. That's how it's supposed to work. And then we have our spiritual gifts. So we are the wealthiest people on this planet because we are spiritually rich. And because everything that we do happens in the spirit realm first, it trickulates and manifests naturally in the physical realm, in divine timing. So we're always going to be financially well off. We're always going to have what we want and need, etc. And we'll end up being rich anyway, you know, because that's just the way it is. That's the natural order of how it is when you're spiritually rich. It naturally comes because you magnetize it. Law of attraction. Be careful with your energy. What you're putting out there is what comes back. So if you're putting out negativity, that is all you're going to get in return. It doesn't matter how high vibing you are. You've got to keep your ego, the unhealthy ego, in check. You only tap into that for fight and flight and all that good stuff. But other than that, if you're having to deal with an enemy, you know, okay, we've already healed that. We keep that in check. That's part of our little demon within us, right? Stay right there. You'll come out when you need to. But that's it. Other than that, but that's your shadow side. That's the shadow aspects of yourself. You've got to control that, and you better be in balance. That is the truthful elements of coming into the spiritual community. It's not all love and light. Anybody tells you it is, do more research at that point. So, what else I thought I was going to be doing some real-time remote viewing, but I feel like I've recovered it all. So, is there anything else though? God, I was really hoping not to use that warrior's mouth tonight, but I can still feel the energy. It's because we're in it. It's in real time right now. We're in that shift. Think of the shift like a freaking the eye of the storm. We're just sort of coming out the eye of the storm because we just got through the calm. Now we're going through the eye of the storm, which is getting really ferocious again. It's like, oh God, trying to navigate through that, like, okay. But you can feel it because it's affecting this shift. The energy shift is affecting everybody. And remember, we're all energy. So we're all going through weird stuff right now and feeling weird stuff. And just call on your guardians and your ancestors at this point and just like, just keep me in check. If I feel like I'm going off a little bit, keep me in check. Just keep me grounded and, you know, ask them to do the work. You know, if you're busy trying to navigate, just have your ancestors and your guardians to just protect you on the energy field right now, just on the dimensions and the spirit realm. Just because if there's anything trying to come at you, let you command your ancestors. You're working. Remember, every time you're breaking, you know, cycles and you're breaking addictions and you're doing all the shadow work, you are clearing up ancestral curses and bloodline care. You're clearing up so much. You're changing everything. You're changing ancestral lines. You'd be amazed at what you're doing for your ancestors. So they're going to be your cheerleaders. They're like, what do you need to tell us? Just keep doing the work. Right? Do what we never got a chance to do. Do what we couldn't fulfill in our life cycles because of tyranny. So remember that. Everything that you're doing and becoming and how powerful you're coming in this life experience you're in right now, this human experience, you are achieving what your ancestors died trying to achieve. So give thanks to them. But remember, they are giving thanks to you every day because every day you're still breathing and you're still pushing forward. And you're doing the shadow work and the hardest work on yourself and the healing. That is the most important thing. That is what will fuel your frequency and really boost it. I'm telling you, the more you heal yourself, the more you raise your vibrational frequency, you get into that authentic energy, your frequency is going to go through the roof because it's the highest frequency to be on. Love is the highest, one of the highest frequencies, but the highest is authenticity. You get into that, nobody can even touch you, and your ancestors going to be like, oh my God, we knew we picked the right one in the line. Seriously. That's when you know you've been chosen. You're a chosen one because you were chosen by your ancestors to come back and do what they couldn't achieve. So don't be offended when you hear the term chosen one. It's not necessarily being chosen by the most supreme divine. It's being chosen by your freaking ancestral bloodline. It's them that choose you. It's them that decide we're choosing you to come back and live another human experience and do it fucking right and make sure where we failed, you'll achieve. We're going to be there for you all the way. Tap into us, connect with us. It's energy. And you give thanks to them and they will absolutely make sure you rise to the top. They will help you. They will go to war on the astral realm for you. They will protect you when you sleep peacefully at night. Trust me. But you will have to do the shadow work and the hard work and to try and keep the arrogance in check, because it just pop out. It's already human, right? But when you work on that into the unhealthy ego, that's where the arrogance pops out, and that's where, you know, you can go back to the old ways. Evolve, learn and grow. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to stay stagnant in the past. You're not supposed to be an older version of yourself. You're supposed to evolve and change. You know you're doing it right. You know you're doing great when your own freaking siblings are jealous of you and they're like, oh my God, who does she think she is, evolving like that? Well, first of all, you're still stuck 20 years behind, right? Catch up. But they weren't chosen. You're going to have siblings that are going to be pissed off because they weren't chosen by the ancestors to do what you're doing because they knew only you could do it. Let them be jealous. Don't worry about it. You're going to lose friends. You're not going to lose anybody. You're going to lose exactly what you need to. And that is usually people, because people, it's a people problem. So if people are going to get jealous of you, have at it. Let them. Okay, and well, you can make some jealousy medals if you want to for them, if it makes them feel relevant. None of your business. Let them do what they need to do. Let them be who they need to be. You just stay on course. But going to do the shadow work. If you've got addictions, work on your addictions. Get rid of them. Right? Been there, done it. Right? You've got to evolve and grow. So I know what I'm talking about. I'm talking from real, true life experience. I know what it's like to be traumatized and re-traumatized and re-traumatized, right? When you've been chosen from your ancestral bloodline too, you are going to get fucking traumatized. You're going to go through most traumas because that's your training. But if they didn't think for one moment you could achieve it and do it and get through it and succeed, they wouldn't have chosen you. So remember that. So, yeah, and sometimes that trauma starts in the familial conditioning early, and that's just how it is, unfortunately. And then you're going to deal with people, lovers that come into your life and re-traumatize you. It's just like, it's a people problem. That's all it is. But then when you evolve and you grow and you become extremely, and you start becoming very spiritually wealthy because you start getting upgrades, right? And all that beautiful stuff. You're going to start attracting new devils. But you're going to know how to navigate around them. And a lot of it's just basic psychology. So when you understand basic human psychology, you can learn to just sort of like reverse that psychology and work around it. And just understand pattern recognition is actually, it helps you a lot to understand, oh, here we go again, that kind of crap. So you can sort of see, you know, when you just sort of like, oh God, I recognize this sort of energy. Or this crap then. It's all low vibrational. That's all it is. Those people are not evolving at all. And it's not your job to try and help them evolve. It's not your job to change them or wake them up or anything. And again, I say this a lot in the words of like Dr. Kelly. What people think about you is none of your business. And it's certainly none of mine what I think of. It's not their business what you think of them either. You know, people judge, but we don't have to. We choose to. That's the thing about human behavior. We don't have to judge others. We just choose to. That's the thing. So sometimes you might find yourself, I don't judge people based on their circumstances or anything like that. You're joking, right? No. I judge people on the behavior. I judge people on how they treat other people. I don't care if you're poor. I don't care if you're rich. I don't care anything. If you're a piece of human shit, I'm going to judge you based on your behavior and how you treat people. I'm not going to want to have anything to do with you. So, and if that makes me judgmental, well, I guess I am. But I don't like disgusting human behaviour, and I will judge it, right? So, and then I'm going to stay away from it because I don't like it and I don't have to. The only people that have a problem with that, how dare you judge me? You don't know what I've been through. Okay, well, maybe work on yourself then, because you don't have to be like that. That's a choice to act like that and treat people like that. You don't have to. I've seen people worse off than you, love, or you, mate, but guess what? They're a hell of a lot more evolved than you, and they don't inflict their trauma and pain onto others to feel good about themselves, or because they're feeling being traumatized. No, I don't think so. Or they're using the traumas and they're using to justify their no, I don't think so. Those people don't take accountability for their actions at all. So I stay away from those people. And everybody should, because that's the only way they're going to learn how to start getting help and grow and change and evolve. But what do I know? I'm just no. But you're supposed to, when you heal your traumas, and you never really stop healing, it's a process, but when you do heal, right, that is what you put into others, that's what you help. And it starts with truth. You've got to be truthful to yourself, and you've got to be honest, right? There's no shame in any of this. There's no shame in evolving. Screw your past. You can't change your past, but you can become a better version of yourself. That's all you need to do. If you keep going back to the old ways, you're not learning anything. You're not learning and you're not growing. And if you constantly go back to the, oh, it's easy to just, it's just easier because this is the way people treat me, so I might as well just accept it. Well, then you're a failure. You don't have to accept that. You're choosing to accept that. Absolutely not. I'm accepting that behaviour. I don't treat people the way you treat. I don't treat people like that, so why should I let you treat me like that? Who the effing think you are? One of those, right? These people think they're above everything. They think they can do anything they want because people don't stand up to them. And by standing up to them, you tell them, no, not today, Satan. Not tomorrow either. Because that's the devil energy that they're functioning off. And you don't have to accept it. I don't care if you're on your own and you're alone. If you accept it, you enable that behaviour. And that's, I don't know. When you evolve and you grow, you understand that. And then you don't want to even be around it because they'll just drag you back, right back down. And then you'll never evolve because you keep going backwards where it's more comfortable to just go backwards. It's not. The hardest thing is to remain on the path you're on. And the hardest part of healing and the healing journey and evolving and ascending is the journey you're on. Because everybody wants to pull you back down because they don't understand you. Oh, you're too much. No, I'm not. You're not enough. You're not enough for me. I'm not too much. And if I am, that's your problem. Nothing to do with me. This is how you've got to be. You've got to be self-possessed. You've got to be in your own power. And you're going to get it all. Oh, you've changed. Of course I've changed. It's supposed to. You're supposed to evolve and, you know, grow, right? It's supposed to stay the same. And those that tend to want you complain about that are the ones that used to be able to manipulate you. So of course you've changed because you're not allowing their disgusting behaviour to hurt and affect you anymore. That's the whole point of it. So just remember this, please, when you're just say no. Of course I've changed, and I'm a better version, and I'm not easily manipulated anymore. I'm not easy to traumatise anymore. And I'm not the same person I was a year ago, let alone 10, 20 years ago. And you know you're not. And they don't like that version. They don't like the new version of you. The older version was easier to control. Your new version is powerful. They don't like that. Because you are a reminder of where they're failing in their self-growth. That's all. You're literally just mirroring to them of their failures and what they're not achieving because they don't want to, because it's easy to stay in the past. And I remember, my circumstances never ever held me back. And I'm not a victim of my circumstances. Are you joking? No. No. Circumstances, that's life. You learn to work around them and go, well, you know, those circumstances, that's fine. I can stay in that energy. And I can complain and whinge about it all day long if I want to. It's not going to help me grow. So that's fine. Say, oh no, oh, look, another circumstance. Hit me. A challenge. Look at them as challenges. Your circumstances do not define you. You do. How you change and how you grow and what you do. You can stay in that energy. You can allow that to define you and shape you and mold you and everything. But circumstances come and go. That's just the way life is. But most people do blame the circumstances for why they're stuck. Remember, it's not the circumstances either. It's the life choices they make. And once they've made those life choices and they're stuck with it, that's what they're complaining about. Well, my life don't grow because I chose to have children and blah, blah. Okay, well, good for you. What do you want, a medal? Right? You can still change your life. You can still do stuff. You can still... That's not a circumstance. That's a choice. But they don't get to complain about to other people that chose different life choices, or because their life's going a bit better than theirs, or they think, well, you've got this and you've got that. Okay, but you know, you're just seeing the finished products. You don't see the hard work we've had to do to get that. They don't see any of that. They don't want to see that. Because if they see the hard work you've done to achieve it, it mirrors back to them, their failures, and why they've got not, because then they've got nothing to complain about, have they? They just need to complain. You're gonna come across this. Why am I really high order? Why am I really going into this? I guess it's part of the sort of, it's what you're going to understand as you're sort of really coming into the spiritual community, and when you start waking up basically and going through spiritual awakenings, it's part of it. But you're going to see a lot of this. You're going to understand a lot more. You're going to understand the patterns of your own behaviours too. Like, ooh, I was a twat back then, wasn't I? God, I do not like the older version of me. I do not like the older version that was manipulated and controlled by people. I do not like the fact that I used to dim my light to make them feel comfortable or make them look... Hell no. Are you fucking joking? No. Never ever dim your light for anybody. And you must never ever lower who you are to try and make somebody else feel okay and comfortable and good. If they don't like you, tot off then. Don't ever dim your light. Don't ever lower who you are for anybody. No. They're selling you too much. Good, I know. You're not enough. Bye-bye. That's all you need. That's all you need to tell these people. They want to bring you back down. They don't like your light. They don't like your ascension. Because they're nowhere near as close to where you are right now. You're high vibing, they're low vibing. Because if they weren't low vibing, they wouldn't even come out with this crap. They won't need to try and bring you back down to their level. Why would you ever want to go back down to their level anyway? You've already been there. You've already dragged yourself out of it. You don't go backwards. So, that was pretty tough. And I'm not trying to lecture everybody when it comes. I'm trying to I'm not. If you want to take it as being lectured, that's entirely up to you. I'm not trying to lecture anybody at all, or even give unsolicited advice. The fact that you hear it, it's not unsolicited, is it? Because I speak truth. But I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to help people when they start coming into their own, or they start coming into the spiritual community, or evolving. Especially when you're trying to alter your own mindset too. It's not all love and light. And if I was to tell you, sit here and say, it's all love and light, and you just need to be in the love and light energy, you're going to get hurt. Because your mind is expanding. And then your mind is becoming more powerful. And the more your mind becomes more powerful, the more you resonate at a completely different frequency. And I assure you, you are going to attract the worst types of devils. But the more work you do on yourself, the more actualized, the more your spirit team, you all have a spirit team, and your ancestors, they're going to fight tooth and nail 24/7 to protect you from the creatures, because everything that you're dealing with that is hidden, again, not everything is flesh and blood. We're not always fighting and dealing with flesh and blood. We're just dealing with everything that is wrong with what affects the mind is on the spirit realms, on the dimensions. You've got to understand it's very real. So while you're living and enjoying your human experience and healing and working hard and really altering your ancestral line and everything, and really breaking those, those bloodline curses and the behavioural curses and everything, you're changing your bloodline. It's beautiful. Your ancestors and your spirit team, they're going to fight tooth and nail. They'll fight the devil itself, right, to protect you. All you need to do for them to earn that protection is just live your life, be a good, decent human being, because kindness is free, and just continue to heal. That's all you need to do. And that changes so much. And then you just become a different energy, and you emanate that energy. And then people see them go, oh, what's your secret? What did you do? I just healed. I just had to do a lot of healing. And then just a lot of growing and just realising I can do things differently. I can change your mindset. Change your mindset, your life changes. And then you escape the matrix system, by the way, too. And then all of a sudden you've got new devils to deal with because they want to come. No, you must come back to the matrix, right? You must come back to sleep where you need to comply. No. So you need to be that cheeky and just be in that energy, and you'll understand what I deal with on a daily basis. But I don't give a shit because I love it, you know. I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not afraid of energies. I'm not afraid of anything in this fair dimensional realm or any realm. I understand a lot more. I don't know everything, but I understand a lot more, and I certainly understand a lot more than I knew before. So it's and it's a great, you know, once you really come into your own and you start remembering who you are and what your mission is, because we've all got a mission too. I mean, you can evolve and, you know, and ascend and just heal, but you don't have to take on a mission. You don't have to. You can just live a slightly different life, more peaceful, because that's where you'll find peace too. But then some of people are like, yeah, I want a mission, right? I want a mission. I want, and then depending on what sort of warrior spirit you've got, yeah, you might take on you may become one of the leaders of the future, especially in the new earth, and that is where we're going. So, but that all depends on what you want to achieve, who you are, who you really want to put into this, because this world belongs to us all, not just some, not that 1%. It belongs to us all, whether they like it or not. So be amazing, be authentic, learn about who you are, and you put that authentic, I'm an authentic weirdo, I own it and I love it. You find your authentic weirdness, right? And you put that into the world, you will attract the right people. You will attract the bad ones, but you will, because authenticity is the highest frequency. So just expect to attract the wrong ones too, and just go, but you'll know, you'll get the guidance and the knowing, oh, not today, you know. Oh, and I've seen your type before, oh, I recognize this energy, no way, right? And you'll just politely decline, no thank you. Because you remember, even though you're going to be strong and you're going to be ferocious and assertive, and that's the problem with me, I'm very assertive, but it's only because I'm strong, and it's only because that's where my power is, and that's when I don't care. I'm assertive because I'm truthful, and I speak truth because I'm only trying to help people. So I have to do it in such an assertive way, because that is where my ferocious warrior spirit comes from, I'm afraid. But once you're in that energy, nobody can really do anything. You just go, oh, she intimidates me. Yeah, you'll see that too, like when you come into your own self-actualized power and you're self-possessed, and your energy is emanating that truthful, authentic energy where you just don't give a flying flip-flop what anybody thinks about you, and that is a great energy to be in. That is what emanates. You don't even need to say anything. You don't even need to, I don't care what you think. You don't need to say it. Your energy screams it, and people just go, oh, that one's too, I don't know why, but I feel a bit intimidated by, who does she think she is? That's their energy projecting themselves now. They're being mirrored. They're suddenly, you're literally just mirroring their own energy, and they don't realize that most of the time. But if you're not intimidating anybody. They're just intimidated. That is their emotions. That's what's triggering them. So that's just their own shadow work they've got to do. But that's not your business. That's not your problem. You're just you're a powerful being now, because you're emanating a completely different, authentic energy. Authenticity is rare in a system and a world full of fucking clones. You know what I mean? And remember, you are also probably the black sheep too, because you don't follow the herd. So get into that authentic energy. And the beautiful thing about being in authentic energy as well, I love it. It helps you heal so much other stuff so much faster. Like you just go, oh, I don't need to worry about that. I don't actually care about that anymore. Oh, I'm over that. Okay, well then you have that hair for a while, but I'm not that same person, so nothing really affects you anymore. And it's a really fast way to help you heal as well. And you'll know it, you'll feel it, you're like, God, that would have triggered me, but, oh, I would have really gone to town on that one. But you're like, I don't think, no, there's no shame. I don't do shame. No. You don't think like that anymore. And that's part of growth. So you might find your own assertive way to sort of express it too, but you don't let anybody overpower you and tell you what you can and can't do anymore. You have a right to live the life you want to, as long as you don't hurt another human being. Just be a truthful, authentic self, and just be a truth seeker. And if you can, and you've got the balls, be a truth speaker, because you know I do, and I don't care. Here I am, and I'm about as authentically weird as it comes, and I'm very different, and I love being different. And there's nobody else like me on this planet anyway. There's many that do different similar things, but there's only one of me, and there's only one of you. Because when you understand the true authenticity of yourself, your own soul, we may be interconnected with our human brothers and sisters, but we are one-offs. And when you get into that energy, nobody can control you. Nobody or nothing. And then you're really going to hear your ancestors going, holy crap, oh my God. And then they're going to be like, yeah, we've got more's coming in. Even the untrusted ones that you couldn't really trust, that they went to the dark side, they're all coming in now, like, whoa, what is going on here, you know? Jesus, right? Seriously. And then all of a sudden you're going to have a front line of, you're going to have an army of protectors, and then there's going to be divine beings from other dimensions, like, what is going on with this energy? Hey, let's see what's going on here. They're going to want to protect you because you're different, because now you're making changes, and you're changing the world by helping one person. That ricochets. Oh, and now you're attracting other people's ancestors going, oh, help mine, you know. You'd be amazed at what one powerful energy, one powerful being can do on this planet. And that is why this evil system hates powerful divine beings. They need cults to exist. We only need ourselves. Our army can't be seen. There's bowing down going, what now, masters? I don't think so. So that's why that will never survive. So, I don't think there's anything else. I think that's what I'm probably going to get more. I think what we're doing right now is just sort of monitoring the timelines right now. But this is when we're on in the present. A lot of movement, a lot of changes. There's a lot of, there's a lot of transitions, dynamic transitions going on right now. So it's again, pattern recognition is well and truly, you can see a lot. There's a lot of intelligence going on right now too, like divine intelligence. Like so if you are coming across other messengers, just listen to them. You don't have to take everything on, but just listen to them. You might learn something. You might just need to know. Especially if you feel like you've just been like, where did this person just randomly pop up from? Well, yeah, there's a reason for that. Nothing's random. There's no such thing as coincidences. So you probably just, if you've just come across another being, another divine being, or another messenger, or if you just come across me, you probably ancestors, like loved ones, are like, you need to watch this crazy one. It's crazy but cool. Right? So there may be something that you need to learn from me. And that's normal. I get that too. Even though I'm highly ascended, I still learn from, you never stop learning. And I always come across other amazing energy readers, and I'm like, holy crap. Oof, thanks for the confirmation. I feel like I needed that. I still need confirmations too. I still get that too. I still get a bit of clarity. I'm always learning. I learned something today from 2 people I met. I learn something new every day. I love it. And that's the energy you've got to be in, because we're all here to learn from each other if we want to. So I will monitor the quantum grid. Yeah, I just felt like I needed to get that out with you. Yeah, and I'm really, I'll see what else is coming in from the Silent Brotherhood. They're clearly still connecting to my energy, so they're coming at me for a reason. They clearly want me to. The keys, the frequency keys are in full effect right now. If you understand what I mean, you'll know what I mean. I can't say any more than that right now for some weird reason. I'm not feeling like I may be able to discuss more, but one thing that needs to be highlighted right now in this, maybe this is for the old guard, okay, that's interesting, and the lower order, is the reason you've lost is because the frequency keys have unlocked everything and they're already in effect. They're already, so, but if they really do need to just continue to cause chaos and madness and carnage, right, to feel relevant right now and still gain a little bit of power, that's on them. We don't need, I'm not too worried about the human populace in that way. We're an incredibly resilient species, and they forget that. The lower order, these people, they forget just how resilient humans are. And when you're out there killing women's children, right, you should not be, these creatures in this lower order, they do not want to be screwing around and messing too much with mothers right now, because those mothers are losing their minds. You keep killing their children around the globe, you watch what happens when women lose their fucking minds when you've taken their children. That's a different kettle of fish. So, but how about that? So that's clearly coming through. It might actually be the women, the mothers, right, that start this revolution the way we're going, to be honest. It wouldn't surprise me. Because the men out there are not particularly being men right now, are they, at all? So they're not really doing much at all, apart from running away from their countries, going to other countries they don't need to be in, right, and leaving the women, their mothers and women and kids behind. Really? I mean, talk about cowards. I mean, really, there's no men. There's no real men anymore like there used to be. There's certainly no warriors like there used to be. If there was, we wouldn't be living the way we are. Seriously, everybody's like, oh my God, where's all the real men? What are you talking about? Where's the fucking warriors? Where the hell are the warriors? Where the hell are the warriors? It was the warriors that protected the women and the children. Not these beta men and all these little beta bitches and all that crap. You're joking, right? What happened to the warriors? What happened to the warrior men? These alpha men, you're joking, right? They're going weird. These alpha, I'll tell you what most of these alpha men are. Had a cult, getting paychecks. Idiots. That's where those alpha men are. Where's the real warriors, right? The real warriors that fight to protect women and children. I want to see them on this planet again. Closing out. That's my stance and 2 cents on that. That's how I feel about that. I'll be back online in a few days for next week's. God, seriously. That needed to be said. That's what I want to see. I want to see warrior men. I mean, you've got warrior women coming back into their own. And it's a lot of, and I tell you, the real warriors right now that are doing a lot of work on the astral realms, fucking women. Oh, seriously, not all, but a lot of women are out there like, I've got to do something. I bless those women. But they're not normal women. They're not your low-vibes. They're female divine beings. They're doing so much work on the fucking dimensional realms right now. We should be connecting with those warrior men. But no, for some reason, sex, porn, and bitches are more important to cater to than actually protecting the real women and the kids. Yeah, that's how I feel about that. Or too worried about pretentious lifestyles. And, oh my God, am I going to get a yacht next month? Okay then. I'm closing this out at 7:49 p.m. I don't care if the higher rise pissed off with me. I don't care. I'm tired of this crap. Really? Men complaining about women. Stop dating nasty little bitches then. Toxic bitches. Same for your women. Stop doing the same. A lot of these problems will, yeah. But you're all low vibes. And you're all alphas. Really? Who wants to be an alpha in this day and age? You're not real alphas. Right? Let's get that straight. You're all toxic. You're all fake, pretentious, and you're part of the problem. Your betas, well, they're just in a little world of their own, aren't they? I want to see more sigmas. I want to see sigmas. You start seeing more sigma females and sigma males, we'll get our warriors back overnight. Ooh la la. Other than that, I'll see you all again pretty soon.